now that I have your attention, now that I've gathered you here all today,
Yeah,
to talk
on this
about,
on this
I'm,
hallowed evening.
I'm waiting. I'm
yeah,
waiting for the gong to go off and Undertaker
to
to give
talk,
you the
to
fucking
talk,
tombstone pile
bro, he just
driver.
appears behind me. Holy shit!
Oh my God!
Where's y'all's like initial reaction of like, let's say the first before the fight scene?
Michael Bay.
Michael.
Before the fight scene.
Yeah. Did you guys like the dialogue leading up? Did you like the story? Dialogue can mean ASL2, ASS.
No, it's not. It's not just
Anybody?
that. It's just
ASL,
like
he's an ass.
when
That's it.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
he's
I gotcha.
but
Sorry.
like when I watch these movies. Oh, bro, fucking. Oh, sorry. Whenever I watch these big monster movies and shit, it's kind of like Transformers, where it's like I'm just trying to get to the big battles and the big fights.
Yeah.
Because the storytelling in these movies are more or less like when they go into the Hollow Earth and shit, and you see Kong's reactions to everything. It's not what they're saying; it's more or less how they're acting, or like.
Yeah, but that's how they're saying it, is through their facial expressions and their
Yeah, but just all the humans are pointless. I don't want to say that.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I don't want to say that, but
I
like,
think there was too much time on the humans. I think there was too much. There was like, I think that there was. That I know that they were trying to make it sound like there was half of the dialogue was for Kong and half the dialogue was for Godzilla, but I think they could have done a little bit better job of telling the story than trying to like mask it or not mask it, but like put it all together all at one time because it just seemed like it was rushed. Like they didn't have enough time to uh, uh, pull out a better story than what they give us.
Because in King of Monsters, the perspective of that family in the chaos, that's cool. They don't really.
Was cool.
They're not like, oh, we're gonna like they do things military wise to try to help Godzilla, but they're not like, oh, we gotta be on his, we gotta be his best friends, and we gotta help him win this. No, they're kind of just in the chaos, and then they try to survive it however they can as humans.
Yeah.
In this, Millie Bobby Brown and all of them, their whole thing ends up in them just pouring soda on a computer, and then they help them win. You could take half the shit out, and that's all they really do. It's just a slow reveal of Mechagodzilla their whole time.
Yeah,
that's all it really is. All their part does is introduce Mechagodzilla 30 minutes too early instead of being a crazy scary reveal at the end, and introduce a crazy conspiracy theory guy that's kind of funny. But he does the same thing 3 times in the movie, and it's kind of annoying at that point. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'm just maintenance. She didn't buy it. Oh, fuck, we're screwed." He did that 3 times. Yeah.
No, go ahead, bro.
They found us. Oh no.
Yeah. They didn't buy that story. Oh no.
I guess I'm the only one in this group who disagrees. I felt like the first 2 were what y'all are describing as this one. The first 2 were just like so much insignificance of the humans, whereas this one.
Yeah, I'm not going to defend the first Godzilla at all. King of Monsters,
And see, there's a lot of people saying that they loved that the first Godzilla was like, oh, they only showed 10 minutes of him. You see what I mean? Like it's like I understand that, but the way that they were building that movie up, like Godzilla was gonna be like that the Japanese version Shin Godzilla, where he was there like literally 75% of the time. People were thinking it was going to be like that, and then when they showed 10 minutes, I mean, it was some kick-ass 10 minutes, and I remember being in there, and he...
Kick-ass?
Yep. And I remember in there, whenever he, did his fucking nuclear blast, the entire fucking movie theater went ballistic. Like, almost as, like, crazy as you see the people in,
They went ape shit?
Whenever they were watching the Avengers and Thor came down, out of the sky with his axe, like, just as crazy as that. But... I feel like in the first 2, it was literally just a drama movie, and it showed, that in there. The second one had, of course, more action in it, but you didn't really know that Millie Bobby Brown and her family were going to be a key role until the third movie. So the second one was just literally a waste. It was a filler. The third one is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to just be literally a monster movie of two big fucks beating the shit out of each other, and it did that for at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And even though it was goofy the way that Mechagodzilla got trashed, it was given a realistic point of view of that, though. He literally is just a robot. This isn't like a thing with an entity, and I get it. He had like Ghidorah's brain or some bullshit or whatever.
That kind of threw me off.
Ultimately, he still just literally parts and a fucking computer. So while it was goofy, people were like, "Oh, you just pull a fucking soda on." I'm like, well, unless he was like spawned from some sort of entity or something, or an alien spaceship up in the sky where nobody can get to it. I mean, that's the same with like my computer. If I pour soda on it, it's gonna die. I mean,
but my whole thing is like they're trying to help Godzilla. That it just came down to them only having to do that, like in the end.
Well, but it makes you think. I think what I was gonna say was I think that they're looking at it as like, I think it's better they did it that way instead of being like, okay, E equals MC squared, carry the root of 50,000 with bananas and all this. That's how we're gonna defeat Mechagodzilla, because we gotta summon the fucking coconut gods, and like, you know, they didn't need to come up with some stupid ass weird ass plan to defeat him. That's what I'm saying. They didn't need to come up with something that doesn't make any sense. Literally, pour soda on a computer. What's gonna happen? It's gonna stop.
Yeah.
And while it was dumb and it was just a big like, oh, and then right when they did that, it was like just completely flat. But it was still kick ass. You can't tell me it wasn't kick ass whenever he fucking pulled off his goddamn arms. Like that was
badass. Because I had no problem with any of the action. The action was pretty badass.
Yeah, action was kick ass.
I think I would enjoy it more if the human like was it was still controlled by the humans in the fight, or like they knew the technology, but human error is what got him destroyed or what got Mechagodzilla to lose. Like they were doing good, but instincts take over and beat human error in that instance. I would have much rather enjoyed that rather than like kind of like a Pacific Rim kind of situation where it's two pilots fighting mecha, which they could basically be stealing at that point, and that conflicts of interest. But the fact that it just turned into Ghidorah basically getting revived and kind of just getting some new shit and then showing up, it's like, hey, bro, I don't really know.
Well,
I don't know about this.
I feel like
pretty much faced against Ghidorah twice in 2 movies.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
I feel like the hardcore fans would have liked if it was like you're saying the human error, but I feel like people that aren't like really invested in like the older movies, they probably
because that's how they used to do it, right? Or in the classic with Mecha, wasn't that? Wasn't there two
I only
pilots
remember watching the original movie, which is it's goofy, but it's still a good fight, especially for the '60s. But I want to say that's how it was. I'm not too versed in it. I've watched the original movie, but I feel like with how humans are, anyways, just extremely egotistical. I feel like if they would have said it was human error, there's no fucking way a goddamn fucking animal beast thing could beat us because like we got fight. Like I feel like subconsciously they thought that they did something like that where it was human error. People would be like, no, there's no fucking way. Like you have a dude who's extremely smart. How would he get out dodged by a fucking animal or a fucking being?
Yeah, it's like we're the apex predator of
exactly.
The real world,
so like when they made it to where it was like Ghidorah still kind of a monster, but also half controlled, like it evened out in that sense. And but I mean like that's how I feel like people would feel, because they'd be like, nah, there ain't no fucking way.
But then when I thought about it, like when the guy disconnected and then he just turns his head, I said, "What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
You got some 4chan hackers in this Godzilla mech right now? Or what the fuck is happening?
4chan, brother?
Yeah, and then it's like, no, he's thinking for himself. I'm like, what?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I enjoyed it for what it was—a monster movie, like a monster fight movie.
Yeah.
But am I ever gonna recommend it as like, bro, watch it? It's The Godfather 2 of 2021. No, I'm not gonna. But it's a good monster fight movie. So
yeah.
It's if you're just trying to like waste time or like just have like an entertaining action movie, yeah, sure, maybe. But I think if you're looking for like good plot and just the good ratio of fight to dialogue, that.
Mhm.
I think you'll be good just to miss out on this. But you know, it at the end of the day, I'm kind of bummed that they hyped this movie up so much. Like like maybe not like uh with commercials until whenever it came out, but whenever they hinted it in King of Monsters, everybody in like the internet was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a badass movie. This is what we were waiting for." So yada yada yada, and then the movie comes out, and you're like, "What the fuck was
They were
that?"
teaming everybody up
What
like
the
they were like
what
they
the
did
fuck
that
is
Twilight
this?
shit with everybody Team Edward
Yeah.
and Team whoever.
And
So
then
yeah.
Monarch,
Jacob.
Monarch,
Sorry.
Monarch went from like a small little company from the first movie, and then now they're like a whole like governmental like establishment. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck?
They're
How long did
Tesla
that
or
take?
Disney.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Elon Musk is in this movie.
Walt Disney is King Ghidorah. He's not actually dead.
Yeah.
His head is in cryo
Yeah.
lock.
Yeah, it's actually his brain. It's not actually King Ghidorah. It's Walt Disney's brain. We always knew that Walmart was going to take over the world.
Oh god.
It's a
Oh, yeah,
60
for
foot
sure.
tall
I knew
Mickey
Mickey
Mouse with a
sounded off.
Or
paintbrush.
not
just
Walmart,
coming
not
in
not Sam Walton. Jesus Christ, Disney was going to take over the world. Fucking Sam, whatever. Same thing.
Walmart.
It's the same thing.
Fucking Walmart should take over the world,
I knew Mickey's voice sounded off.
right?
But see, I don't think you were in here when I said it, Brooks, but I've said it since King of Monsters came out, and then since the announcement of this movie, I said, how are you going to have him kill, the main monster, Ghidorah, god of monsters at that point, and then have him fight a monkey with thumbs, and expect me
With
to
an
think that,
axe.
yeah, and expect me to think Kong has a chance. Like, he turned into a nuke and
Okay.
won.
Okay. So are we already getting into it? Why I have a huge
Let's
problem
fucking get into it, dude.
Okay.
Let's fucking
Before
go.
this, who is Team Godzilla and who's Team Kong?
Oh.
with Kong.
I
Okay.
love Kong, but in this, there's no way Kong
I'm Team
With-
Godzilla on that one.
yeah with
Yeah, well, you're a
with what
fucking
they,
weeb.
with,
There's nothing to do with that at
No.
all.
just with what they did in the second movie, there's no way they can.
We get it,
make
Austin.
Kong
It's from
strong.
Japan or whatever. You have to fucking vote for it.
No,
Fucking
I've
Christ.
always been a
Yeah,
fan of
dude.
Godzilla.
It's not about
Yeah.
that, but it's about the all that other shit. Yeah, all that other shit, Austin. You know. Yeah, Like, I don't fucking know that whole quote from TikTok, but I know you're
Senpai?
good. Yeah. Oh.
Senpai.
So it's like, he just survives a nuclear blast and kills Ghidorah, and then it's like, hey, fight this gorilla over here
Yeah.
with an axe.
But okay.
Well, I saw that they had to make Kong taller because I remember in Skull Island he was a certain amount of size, and then in this one he grows like exponentially, so they
Basically,
can have
they
some
explained
kind
that he was a teenager in Skull Island. That's how
Yeah,
they made
he
that a
was
retcon.
he was still young.
of,
Yeah.
yeah,
and he's still technically a young adult now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
which is why I have another theory on top of like why I didn't like the fight. But now, did I think the fight was kick ass? It was.
Well, which rounds? I mean, rounds 1, 2, and 3. I mean, one was kind of unfair though, because they were out in the middle of the fucking ocean, and Godzilla had a crazy advantage on that.
Right.
And
I think they tried doing that on like equal playing fields for each person. One,
right.
like the Hong Kong thing was kind of, I say equal, but it's like that's like I guess an urban jungle, you could say, or some shit like that. But I mean,
No, I'm not saying like they should have done it in Kong's like area. I
just didn't know
get
if
what
you were
mean.
like even, bitch.
No,
what? Like,
no, the first one definitely, like, that's Godzilla's thing. And I think overall, the only reason I had a problem with it, like, if Godzilla wanted to, I think if, definitely though, Kong is faster, he's more agile.
Right.
Why didn't they actually show that he was faster and more agile? They made Godzilla turn into this dude who could literally dodge punches.
bitch.
Like that's
Bitch.
the
Yeah.
like when I watched that, I was like, there's no way that that he could dodge a punch like that.
No,
What the hell?
Godzilla is more or less a powerhouse brute.
Yeah,
than anything
and all the
else.
people defending him like, oh no, yeah, Godzilla's like so fucking agile. And I'm like, no, he's not.
No, he's
I'm not saying that he's not agile, but Kong, other than the whole joke about having thumbs, this dude is supposed to be like literally speed 100,000 compared to like Godzilla. So the fact that Godzilla was like giving him some left and rights and popping him in the face and shit, I was like, okay, that's the way you're building him up, that's not realistic. I mean, regardless of like a big giant monkey or whatever.
Well, because that's how Ghidorah kicked his ass, because he was hitting him so many times for him to react and shit most of the time, like with all the heads and shit. But
yeah, it made no sense to me why they made it to where Godzilla was not only, as far as pure strength, they also underpowered that shit. They underpowered Kong. Kong, in my opinion, is way more physically strong. The fact that he's the same height, I would say Godzilla's a little bit heavier. Besides, like his thick ass tree stump legs.
Oh, I thought you were about to say
when it comes
else.
to like pure upper body strength, there ain't no fucking way he can be tossed like Godzilla tossed him. I'm just sorry. Like I like, in my opinion, I thought that was the person who was making the movie is a huge Godzilla fanboy and wanted to suck his lizard dick and was like, oh no, I'm gonna make Godzilla kind of win something, but I'm gonna make him look like a bitch at the end. And that's what they did. It should have been like the original.
If it wasn't for Kong, I think Godzilla would have lost that fight with Godzilla, with Mechagodzilla.
I'm not going saying like I'm glad they teamed up and that was
cool.
No, and at the end there was like respect, but it should have ended like the first one where it was like a draw. And people were like, "Oh, it did connect." It's like, no, they made Godzilla be like, you're my bitch. I could have killed you if I wanted to." While I don't disagree that Godzilla's claws and his fucking nuclear beam is like way fucking OP, the fact that he seemed way more agile and faster than Kong was absolute bullshit.
Because the only time they really showed.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh,
I was trying to say the only time they really showed his agility was when he was dodging the beam to get the axe back. When he was fleeing to get the axe, but other than that, that was the only time you really fucking saw it.
Yeah, and then when they're up close, that's like me going up against like Conor McGregor, and I'm dodging punches and punching him in the face, and they're like, "Oh, that's realistic."
Like,
it's like, no, it's not realistic. What the hell?
Conor McGregor is so confused.
If Godzilla wanted to, I'm sure since he's learned his powers, I'm sure that he could have just fucking nuclear beam or bit into him or whatever. Like immediately like that when they're up close and personal, and then Kong would have had to block that or pick up his head or whatever. But when it comes to like them making them, he's purely stronger, upper body strength, and he's more agile, was absolutely horrendous. When it showed the back shot of Kong throwing rights and then Godzilla's going like that, he's like, Mike Tyson, bitch, and I'm like, I absolutely hate this fight now. I was at least make it realistic. At least make it to where, like, let's say that Godzilla would have. What happened?
Did you just say back shots? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I skip past this part?
Yeah. I would have gave it back shots if they gave Kong like a real fucking chance.
Did Godzilla give Kong some back shots?
I would have liked to see some back shots from Kong. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I mean, like it would have made more sense if Godzilla would have like lured him back into the ocean or like grabbed onto him and ran into the ocean, tried to drown him. I would have been like, damn, like, what a pussy or something. I would have called him like a pussy or be like, oh, he brought him into the water. But I'd be like, he's an apex when it comes to the water. But on land, it is not like Godzilla is the best on land. The fact that they made him like, oh, he's an apex on both land and water. No. The way that the fight's supposed to be is you got an apex predator who is like king of the land, and then you got an apex predator who is the king of the ocean. And then when they come out, I'm not saying that Godzilla can't fight. He has the beam and he has the claws, but you can't make the person who is like not supposed to be the king of the land completely beat the shit out of Kong. It was so dumb.
Yeah, like in the first fight when they're in the ocean, you can see Kong able to defend himself. Like he catches some of the attacks, he defends it. But then he gets sideswiped from Godzilla, who's obviously swimming way more superior than Kong can. But then when he gets on the ship, Kong gets a little advantage, beats the shit out of him a little bit, and then they end up back in the water, and he almost drowns. I thought it was going to be kind of foreshadowing for what was going to happen when they fought in Hong Kong or whatever the fuck.
Kong.
And then he's like, "This is my home turf, bitch." No, but I thought kind of what you said, where he was going to try to lure him back to the water. When he punched Kong into like the shallow water, I thought maybe that was where it was hinting, where he was going to like try to drag him back out, and then Kong's like throws him back into the city. But no, he's just like, I'll throw you back into the building real quick, and then I'll stomp your chest out and then claim victory, and you're just going to take it, you bitch. Then I'm going to swim away.
Bitch.
Yeah, and then I'm going to swim away because I'm the king of the ocean.
And I feel like the reason they did that when they at the end, like when they made technically Godzilla winning, and they did the respect thing at the end, because they knew if they would have left it like after he killed and then like Godzilla just left without looking at him like, you want to go again, regardless of how bad Godzilla looked, Godzilla probably could have taken him then Kong could have taken him because Godzilla did not look like he was even there. Because like you said, Kong did have to come back. And that's the other thing. The fact that Godzilla had more stamina than fucking Kong? What the hell? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I don't think if you didn't give both water and land, I think because there's more water than there is land. And I think of Godzilla I feel like is a smarter strategist because he's been on Earth longer. I get that. But when it comes to just like pure animal instinct and pure power, pure whatever, and pure agility, the fact that it said, oh yeah, he's been on Earth like what, a couple hundred more years or a couple thousand or whatever, so that means he's stronger. No. The fact that Kong has grew that fast and he's way younger than him means that if they make another film, which they're not going to, Kong's going to be even bigger than he is. The fact that he's growing at that rate. So if they make another one and they make like Kong only grow like an extra 20 feet or something, then they completely botched the way that they matched him up because they're like, oh, well, we got to have him the same size or it's going to look weird. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to make a movie where it's like, you know, next year or 5 years in the future, at Kong's rate and how he grows compared to Godzilla's, he should be about 150 feet taller than him by then. And if you still make Godzilla win, I'm going to find whoever made the movie and not give you a high five. I'm trying to be PC here. Okay.
Well, that's the only thing. I feel like they wrote this movie with the context of what King of Monsters ended with and what they already did with Godzilla. Like, if they had a plan in mind before making those movies, it'd be different. But I feel like whoever made this movie went in with it, was like, oh, they already did this, so we can't really dumb him down for a gorilla fight. So how can we do this to where everyone's happy? Oh, let's make him lose, but then he helps Godzilla survive, so then they got respect, even though he still got his ass kicked over here. They're going to forget about that because they're friends now. That's not how that works. I don't give a fuck who saved who from a robot. I care about the first fight.
Yeah.
I think, and also in this movie, I think that it's not so much like whose side you were on. I mean, obviously that's what the whole goal into going into this movie,
right?
Is have people pick sides and see how their character does. But with how they portrayed it as a whole, anyway, I think both people or both sides would go like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, that wasn't like my guy won a lot. Like, if you were Team Godzilla, you were like, okay, I get the first fight, but the second fight, you know, I don't understand how it went that way. And then Kong are like, well, they gave him up in the water, and he did all right back in the land. But the way that they fought was just not. It's not cohesive, and I think they could have done a lot better.
It wasn't choreographed well at all.
No,
right.
and not one fight.
I actually agree with that.
Not one fight did Kong stand up proudly afterwards. Every fight looked like he barely survived.
Yeah, they made him
it completely underpowered him. It made no sense. The fact is, before that, he almost got killed by a fucking monster in his world, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Where it's suffocating him, and
like literally suffocating him, and then like the fact that they showed that he did have strength, where he was just like, oh yeah, I forgot I have strength.
I think that one of the reasons, though, for that is because if you remember, he was trapped in that bowl, that dome, for a long time because they were testing him so he didn't have his space. He was pretty much like
He was in containment.
crunched up. Yeah, he was in containment, so it didn't feel like he was free. So then when they went to the Hollow, he started feeling like this. He was trying to get used to the whole shit of like where they were at, what was going on. I mean, and I think they drugged him when they were in the boat. I think they drugged him when they were in the boat before they had the fight. Sedated. So I think that was probably kind of like a downfall to that situation too. So I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, you're right. I mean, they did a lot of. You could tell that they were doing a lot of kind of weakening him in a way. So, but maybe that might be the reason. And you can kind of tell, like by the end, he was starting to like figure out his shit, because now that he's like, when you saw the end that he was in the Hollow now and being in charge of the Hollow itself, he's could probably get much stronger, and you'll probably see more. If they even do another Kong movie, you can see how much the difference between the fight of that than the movie.
This was. Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just saying you made a lot of good points there, because he was in captivity. It's like taking an animal out of captivity and thinking it's going to hold its own with animals that do that. So I didn't think about that too much. I don't know how long he was in it. I didn't remember how much or how long they said or how long.
Yeah, because he was in Skull Island before, so he grew up in his habitat. So it's not like putting him into a dome was going to completely erase what he
but it's like
but he knew that he was caged up. I mean, he threw that shit at him.
I think subconsciously, because he's a lot smarter than people thought he was when he did the sign language and shit, that he was like, I don't want to try to fight these people. They're giving me food, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's just no reason to fight these people. I think that's why he was like, I don't want to go out. I know it's a lot less dangerous.
And there was nobody to fight against him in that.
It was a lot less dangerous in here than it is if I go out back to my world. So he was like, I'll just chill in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had that little girl that was deaf that was kind of
dude, thanks for pointing it out. You didn't have to say that.
Wow, dude. So far, we have avoided saying that at all costs. And then
God damn.
There's nothing wrong about that.
Oh
it's not PC at all.
See, here's my only issue with him being sedated in the first fight. I didn't remember that until you just reminded me that they said that beforehand. Like, maybe if they showed him looking dazed or something at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I remember that. But they didn't really establish that during the fight or make it look like he was dazed, so you forget all about that. So it just looks like he's getting his ass kicked.
So the fact that he was sedated, right? And then you have Godzilla he's in Godzilla's world, and he still breaks out of it. And then you're going to try to tell me that Godzilla can outmaneuver him on land? You guys pretty much fucked up the plot in that. It would make sense if he got out, or if he barely got out of it alive because something else happened, right? But the fact that he's literally probably only about 50% because he's barely waking up and he still broke out of Godzilla's grasp and swam up to the top. And then when they get on land, he's definitely had enough time to get 100%. Can knock him around a little bit, but still can't fully knock him down. Makes no fucking sense. This whole movie was a person who was a little shit brat whenever they were in the 60s. They got pissed because the one who made the Godzilla vs. Kong technically said that Kong won. It was like, that's not fucking right. When I get old enough and I can write films, I'm going to make it to where it's technically 3 Godzilla movies and only give Kong 1. And then in the end, I'm going to make Godzilla turn into this fucking Mike Tyson of a fucking fighter. And it makes no fucking sense. And everybody's going to agree with me because Godzilla's got a fucking laser beam.
Well, didn't the only reason why he got out
about that, sir?
Didn't the only reason why Kong got out of Godzilla's grasp in the first place because they let out like a death mine or whatever?
They let out the death mine, but the fact that he was still able to like fight and punch him while he was 50%, it's just like that's.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were saying like, oh, that's the only way he escaped.
No. I was exaggerating, saying like that. I get the mind thing going off, but what I'm saying is I get if you underpower him because he's still technically almost not really out of fully being sedated. Mm-hmm. But then it's like when he's full Monty and he still is getting fucking Mike Tyson to like Godzilla was training with him. Like, what the hell? That's the only thing that's the only thing that I'm very upset about. Like, if they would have made it realistic to where like on land where Godzilla had to, like, if Godzilla would have just constantly used his beam, I would have called him a pussy, but he would have stuck to his reins. Not trying to fight with somebody who's obviously a better hand-to-hand combat than him, but they made Godzilla turn into like this fucking martial artist? Like, what the hell?
Bro, what if Kong grabbed his tail, Godzilla's tail, and did the whole tree thing that he did with all the but it was just his spikes and like just shred his fucking
Oh, wow.
tail off.
Or he did an
It's like,
Indian,
"Ah!
he did an Indian rope burn. He was like, "You like that?
Yeah.
No, stop it."
You can't do that without thumbs, can you, bitch? No, but kind of the same thing. Like the whole thing with what you're saying, I agree with. Where because if they didn't set off that mine to let God or make Godzilla let him go, Kong would have died.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's just face it. If
100%.
if that didn't happen, he would have died, and it kind of looked like he was about to.
Yeah.
They should have had a scene for Godzilla that did the same thing with Kong that they did with Godzilla.
Yeah, they weren't going to do that.
I know.
Godzilla made
And-
them the most money. I feel like it was also another thing that they did. They were like, well, we're going to see which one makes the most money. If Kong makes a fuck ton, which it wasn't, because they already made King Kong from Peter Jackson, and that did really good. So when they made one where it's just called Kong Skull Island instead of just Kong or King Kong, which they couldn't because of their movie trope with King Ghidorah, and then Godzilla was supposed to fight and become King Godzilla, whatever. But I think they subconsciously knew that the King or Kong Skull Island was not going to do as well as Godzilla.
Mhm.
They just knew it wasn't. So when they said, okay, well, Godzilla is easily going to make close to $1 billion. So the fact that he made the most, he's going to win.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
I just feel like they missed an opportunity with this, and kind of like you said, they're not going to make another one anytime soon or continue this on. Or I mean, if they did, it'd just be a waste of time. Because all they would try to do is correct the mistakes that they did.
Yeah, they should have did like you said, where they made Mechagodzilla show up at the very last second to go to second Godzilla versus Kong versus Ghidorah or fucking Mechagodzilla. Like that would have been cool because they've done those in the past where it's like versus. But I feel like they're like, no, it's just got to be a one and done. And it's like, well, you can't leave it up in the air because it's almost like they put in like some PC political bullshit in there with saying like, I respect you, we're friends. They're two fucking apex predators on land, or they shouldn't be like, yeah, good. I mean, I could get it if I get
Thanks
it.
for saving my life, but remember I beat your ass earlier. Just letting you know.
It's basically like I get it. They're both technically more intelligent than people are giving instead of just two big ass monsters. But it didn't resonate with me how they made Kong look such like a bitch, and the fact that he was the same size and they made him so underpowered as far as physically strong. More tools. Godzilla has more tools to defeat him.
He's basically what Hulk is, and Thanos, like when Hulk and Thanos met in the first one.
Talking about
That
Godzilla?
should have been what. Yeah, where Hulk is just kind of like a brute force, kind of like punch your stomach in until you eat out your ass. I think that's a thing. And then it shows Thanos kind of like one, like just piecing him up, like strategically attacking him. It should have showed that, where like Kong can outthink Godzilla, and Godzilla can brute force his way through it should have just been a fight like that.
No. Godzilla is very intelligent. That's that I'm not giving away to Kong. But as far as upper body strength and pure power, Kong should have had that, but they didn't give it to him because I'm saying it's Godzilla.
But what I'm saying is, Godzilla's not targeting like a kidney and shit to attack Kong.
I'm not saying he's like a fucking martial artist, but the fact that he literally got out dodged and like uppercutted by a fucking lizard, I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying because I'm trying to combine that with like agility, where it's like Kong can't brute force his way past the tank. He needs to be more strategic with his attacks in a way to where, like, sorry, I got my Sharpie again. In a way to where he's not just right directly in front of the guy with the laser beam coming out of his throat.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, use the buildings as, like, I don't know, cover, distraction, something.
I mean, I would even go as far as to say, like, if they would have made Kong, like, as strong as he actually is, I think there should have been a scene where Kong was literally threw him on the ground and was gonna, like, bitch suffocate him, turned his head so he couldn't do the beam up in his face, and literally like suffocating him, and then the only way to get out of it is Godzilla's claws clawing at him until he's eventually like, oh fuck, I can't take that anymore, so I'm gonna let go. But of course they didn't do that. It was like Godzilla fucking giving him a goddamn like fireman carry and shit, and I'm like, dude, this pisses me off so much. So I'm like, at least make it realistic between the fighters. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Dude, did you like the wrestling iron whips or Irish whips into the fucking buildings? And
yeah,
shit?
dude, I'm like, oh my fucking god. I'm like, I get it. I get it. The person who made this wants to suck lizard cock. I get it. But like, You know what I mean? Like,
should have been a Batista bomb in there.
At least the
Kong,
water
bro.
fight was more realistic because that's Godzilla's world. But the fact I can just go back around this whole fucking, goddamn solar system of bullshit what they did on land with Kong all day long. I'm just saying the same shit because it just still pisses me off. But I think the fights were cool. Choreographed though, absolute dog shit. I mean, just two big ass monsters beating shit at each other was cool, but yeah,
technically you could say Kong's best weapon was part of Godzilla.
Yeah, the fact they made that was another thing. Like, I gotta suck this lizard's dick so hard. I gotta make Kong's best weapon made from Godzilla, and I'm like, oh my fucking god.
I did think that was really cool though that literally Godzilla used his beam to put onto the axe to help him, because with Mechagodzilla coming in trying to kill him. But I thought that was pretty cool. I do like the part where they both tag team to help each other out. I thought that was cool.
The coolest part about the movie for me was them literally ripping apart Kong ripping apart. That was the best part. That was the most realistic shit where they were teaming up. Where I was like, because Mechagodzilla is supposed to be like this, which, I mean, the fact that it's kind of man-made is another thing where you're kind of like, how's it overpowering? How can it overpower Godzilla? Because, I mean, or even Kong for that instance. The fact that Kong couldn't literally do that until he hit it with the axe.
Yeah.
So again, they were
carbon
underpowering
fiber,
him.
bro.
Carbon fiber.
No, well, because that's the thing. The team-up scenes were Mecha would go after to swing at Godzilla, and Kong would catch it, and then they combo one-piece him and shit.
Yeah.
That was badass. But whenever Mecha's just bitch slapping everybody, and it's a man-made fucking product.
Literally the cinema shot, and Mecha's just like.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, can this movie fucking end already? Can you kill Mechagodzilla? I know you're going to.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, it was. I agree with Brooks. I mean, you need to watch it just to watch it, but don't go into it thinking that this is something groundbreaking like it was back in the '60s when people had never seen shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna say the movie in the '60s was better choreographed. For its time, it was well above and well ahead most things. But it's just they could have choreographed this better. They could have done it to where it was Godzilla being a strategist against Kong rather than him just being like, hey, because a guy wants to suck my dick, I'm gonna be Mike Tyson and I can do everything you can technically, but I'm faster than you. And it's like,
dude, just imagine
cool,
that.
bro. Also, my strongest weapon is made from your lizard shit.
Hey, remember this spike you lost a millennia ago? I have it now.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks that they killed off the rest of his race, Kong's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just because I'm like obviously there was people who were bigger and stronger than him, and I get it, they were taken over by the evil that was on his planet. But I'm wondering if they're ever going to explore to see actually how big a fully grown gorilla can get in that world, because I still don't think he's fully grown. Because the fact they said he was a teenager in there, I think he's just a young adult now. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he can get bigger and bigger and bigger.
About 25 to 30 in between there, maybe even younger than 25.
I feel like in that type of race of an alien, I feel like they can get even bigger. I mean, Godzilla got bigger over time. So I mean, the fact that they didn't explore that with him, kind of shitty.
Although the part whenever Godzilla popped his shoulder back into place, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I mean, I get that, but I mean, it's another thing. I'm glad that they didn't make it to where Godzilla's, technically armor that he has of his skin was easily breakable. But I think they went a little overboard saying that Kong's skin is like human skin, when it shouldn't be like that. I mean, I get it. I get it. A nuclear blast, a nuclear blast isn't going to go, oh, gorilla skin, let me not go through you. I get it. It would go through him. But claws and stuff, and I'm not saying they're not razor sharp.
He was shopping bag lading the fuck out of his chest, dude.
The more and more that the time went on, Kong was looking more and more like a bitch, and I was just like, you...
Please end this now.
I'm like, just end it, guys. I get it. You fucking love Godzilla. You have tattoos on your cock. I get it, dude. Just hurry the fuck up.
Well, here is my thing. I love the shoulder pop back into place, right? It would have been a lot cooler if he did that in the fight with Godzilla rather than after he already got his ass whipped. Like if maybe Kong or maybe Godzilla does that and then Kong gets the upper hand and then uses that moment to pop his shoulder back into place. And that's like he gets back into the fight after he does that. And then it's like his round, basically. He wins that round. But no, it's like, oh, he already lost. So now he can look like a badass, really aggressive, and then go fuck up a robot. Not Godzilla, though. But fake Godzilla, you know. So it's like when you lose to the champion at a pay-per-view and then you challenge his tag team partner. It's like, I can't beat this motherfucker, but I'll get this motherfucker right here.
That's so fucking true.
It's so stupid, but it's like, I don't know. I get it. Kind of like Derek said. It's just like walking into this movie, I did not expect them to make Godzilla lose badly. But to dominate how he did, I didn't expect that either.
Yeah.
But after, I mean, like I said, after he was a walking nuke, man, it's like, what can you do now?
Yeah, I mean the whole nuke thing of him like being able to control his nuclear breath, where he can just out of thin air. That I'm not disagreeing with. If it was just him doing that the entire time, it'd probably get monotonous. People would be like, "Oh, he's a pussy. He's using his breath." I'm like, "Well, he's a fucking. He can do it." It'd be the same thing if, like, only thing that Kong did was literally just bob and weave and fucking jab him the whole time. People would be like, oh, that's fucking pussy move. He can only jab. And I'm like, because that's what Kong can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a whole nother. I need to do a separate episode where I'm literally just in the camera saying the same thing over and over for a fucking hour and a half.
Just an angry rant. That's all it needs to be.
I mean, it
sucking
wasn't
Godzilla's dick.
Dude, how do you think that would go? By the way,
sucking his dick.
Like, how big do you think that dude is? Because you keep saying this one director dude's just trying to suck Godzilla's cock, and I'm like, did he go to the prop department and was like, hey guys,
it's probably extremely small. That's probably why Godzilla is so angry.
It's all that nuclear energy.
He's just fucking up all these cities because of his small dick.
You know, it is what it is. It's over now.
It's all over now.
Yeah,
it's over now.
If they ever come back and they make like a sequel to it, I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, I can't remember what all monsters are in that realm and all in that world. I know there's a lot.
Half of them are
if you remember
they showed them in King of Monsters, but you never saw not one of them in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, half of them died.
But the ones that were at the end,
Godzilla into Superman in this world, like they literally did that.
But in the King of Monsters, they just walked out. Like they were all like bowing to Godzilla, and then they just pretty much walked out. So, like, where's the mammoth one that was in there? Where's the bug one that was in there? I mean, they might still be alive, but if there's the mammoth one, like a giant mammoth one, where would it go? Unless it went to the Hollow, which
Antarctica.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I think if they do another movie,
they're
not going to do it. They're not going to do a solo Kong movie
again.
They're going to do another solo Godzilla because it sold the most.
Most of the ones that are still alive aren't the apex predators of the world.
Yeah.
Which sucks because they brought all the apexes into King of Monsters, and then it's like, well, Kong won, or not Kong, Godzilla won, and then it's like, now go fight Kong because we need more money.
Yeah.
But this is totally a believable fight. Just go fight Kong real quick. While Godzilla was becoming a nuke and killing every monster, Kong was in a containment chamber.
That's what I'm saying. Like they were building up to make him fucking Superman. And I just, in the fight, in the movie I was going into, I was like, I really hope they at least make it to where it's realistic in the fighting scenes. Yeah. Ultimately, maybe, I don't think they're going to have him kill Kong. I think they're going to have him, maybe, like, nuke breath him, and, like, maybe his arm, like, gets severely damaged and he can't fucking walk, or his leg or something. Yeah. But not, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to keep rehashing it, but you know what I mean? Like, I wish they would have went a different route in the fighting. If it was like an underwater thing where Godzilla was like, yo, bro, like, you want to drown or you want to give up? Like,
yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is. I think they should do another movie. But if they're, because I mean, now this was like a little fucking preschool fight where the two kids hate each other, beat the shit out of each other, and then now the next one is they're in grade school, and they're like, it's like a buddy cop movie now. Like that's what they should do. Where it's just Godzilla and Kong, and Kong is like, you know how they like underpowered me? He's like, you little bitch, and just slapping each other while they're going beating all the fucking people or whatever. And
you know what they need to do? Okay, so just let's Fast and Furious this whole fucking franchise, right?
In
So what they need
space.
to do, the next movie is it needs to be World War III. America has Kong, and China and all them have Godzilla, and they're in the front lines, and it's just the armadas and the ships and shit. You know, Godzilla pushes them back to the States, but Kong gets on the States. He's like, bring it, bitch. And then it just goes back and forth. Every time they get in the water, Godzilla wins. Every time they get on land,
So I got another one. So the same thing, but then no. The same thing, World War III, but then Godzilla and Kong get next to each other and look at each other, and they're like, finally, they high five and they kill fucking everybody.
Yes.
We got everybody
now
together.
that we've gathered you here
Everybody's
today.
here,
Yeah.
and he's like, Godzilla, take it away, brother. Oh, just fucking everybody, and Godzilla and Kong's just like smiling, smashing people and shit like that.
Dancing and shit, kicking boats and just fucking shit up.
He's like, I got my axe, beam me up, bud.
Oh shit! Oh my
Fucking
god!
hilarious. Yeah, any other
It's like,
final
all right,
thoughts?
you get this half of the world, I get this half of the world. Enjoy.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What the fuck?
Do y'all think the Hollow is real life?
Well, I've seen plenty of Land of the Lost and
Yikes.
or Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Center of the Earth,
Yes.
yeah.
Brendan Fraser, dude. I fucking love that,
Brendan
man.
Fraser, or like Journey 2, where it's Dwayne Johnson and
Dwayne
the guy from Bridge to Terabithia. I can't remember his name.
Terabathia, love that movie.
Yeah,
Terry
Terry.
Bathia.
Like Nathan something, I think his name was.
Yeah, that's a lot more care than I want to put into his name. He's,
Yeah, sorry.
It's like, yikes. Zathura, I guess you could say. I mean, the douche brother in Zathura with, Bella Swan.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, just closing synopsis, bro. It's a good, like, popcorn flick, but will you watch it again anytime soon? No, probably not.
No.
That's my whole problem with the characters is mainly like I'm not going to go back and be excited to see their scenes. They will be the scenes I skip through every time I rewatch this movie if I ever do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie,
that's why
I
it's like-
appreciated the humor though.
No, yeah, that's the only reason why that one character was in here. But I mean, all the other ones are kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, Millie Bobby Brown's dad was only in there to be like, oh yeah, you were in the other ones. Hey, hi. It's the only reason why he was in there.
Yeah.
I wish
it's
the,
kind of like the first Godzilla where they got away from Bryan Cranston after 10 great minutes
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
went to
God.
somebody else. Yeah,
I
so
do
it's
miss the Asian guy that was in that from the King of Monsters.
Yeah.
Gajira.
It's you
Gajira.
can't say
That's why you missed him.
Really? No, it's not why I
can't
liked him
say
in the other movies. I enjoyed him in the movies.
Wow.
'Cause he's the one who actually- No, I'm not getting there. Not
He's
going there
treading on
anymore.
thin water. Oh no. Oh
Anybody
no.
wanna
I
give
just
a
like that
cinder
he-
bud,
Really? I
or-
can't say Godzilla?
There's
Really?
TikTok.
That's
There's
not
You
what you said.
okay? First of all, do you want to say what you actually just said?
Yeah, it's
like
a
the Asian guy
Gajira.
'cause
Exactly.
Godzilla. Like what the fuck?
Oh my god, this man's
That's not making fun of it. It's just how they say it.
like Austin's the only one in this
How-
group
who
who
says
doesn't
it?
want us to succeed.
That's what I'm saying.
Did y'all know that the kid that was in that computer, that was trying to control Mechagodzilla,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
either he's the grandchild or he's the son,
He was the
that-
son.
the son of that guy.
Like in lore or real life?
In
Lore.
lore in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Wait,
if that
wait,
was like,
wait, the
that
son of
actor was
who?
his son. The main
Huh?
guy that's like, look, it's got, or the let
So
them
the-
fight or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay,
one
I-
who was a scientist.
Oh, okay.
I can't
Yeah,
remember his name.
I thought you were talking about of Kyle Chandler's character from Millie Bobby Brown. I was like, what the fuck? Did he sleep with a fucking Asian chick that I didn't know about?
Wow.
See, I
Yeah.
think the funniest part to me in the whole movie was the spoiled rich girl that tried to shoot Kong and go through the hole. He's like, shoot him, get him out of our way, and Kong just
Oh,
grabs
yeah.
her.
That was awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, I was like,
Like,
but
you
she's
stupid
pretty.
bitch.
She's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Later.
yeah. That was probably the funniest part to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. But you know,
Agreed. Cool. Any other?
10 out of 10. May not watch again, but you know, it was all right.
Any other closing statements from anybody on the movie?
Mm.
All right, Jake, you want to give it?
Team Godzilla. All right, that's it.
What?
Give a cinder bud, Jake.
Oh, dude, all you had to do was ask fucking Cinder, bud.